tonight. For the first 3 Wednesdays, starting this Wednesday night, we will have corporate prayer for the first 3 Wednesdays of the year. Amen? And this is why we do it. Number one, there is something about the saints getting together and praying on one accord. Amen? There are too many, there's too much biblical mandate that says that when the saints get together to pray on one accord, some supernatural things can happen. Amen? And so I believe that we believe that this is the best way to start off our year in prayer. So we're going to get together. We're going to pray this Wednesday, the following Wednesday, and the Wednesday after that. We're going to be praying for our city. We're going to be praying for our government. Lord knows we need to do that. Okay, we're praying for your families and praying for your finances. Each Wednesday we'll have a theme. We're going to be praying for something specific. And so I want to invite you out. You don't want to miss something like this. Amen. It can really bless your life. Amen. And so that's going to be good. So 1 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 17. When you find it, somebody say amen. All right, 1 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 17. And I want to read down to verse 24. And because this is such a big block of text, let me read this to you if it's okay. Amen? All right, listen to this. It says, Saul said to David, "Here is my older daughter, Merab. I will give her to you in marriage. Only serve me bravely and fight the battles of the Lord." For Saul, now this is King Saul, Saul said to himself, "I will not raise a hand against him. Let the Philistines do that." Look down your row and say, that sounds kind of strange to me. Verse 18, but David said to Saul, "Who am I? And what is my family or my father's clan in Israel, that I should become the king's son-in-law?" So when the time came for Merab, Saul's daughter, to be given to David, she was given in marriage to that guy. Verse 20 says, now Saul's daughter, Michal, was in love with David. And when they told Saul about it, he was pleased. I will give her to him, he thought, so that she may be a snare to him, so that the hand of the Philistine may be against him. Look down your row and say, this is getting a little stranger. Then it says this, so Saul said to David, now you have a second opportunity to become my son-in-law. Verse 22, then Saul ordered his attendants, speak to David privately and say, look, the king is pleased with you, and his attendants all like you. Now become his son-in-law. Sound like they're trying to manipulate this dude. Does that sound, y'all getting that out of this? Verse 23. They repeated these words to David, but David said, do you think it is a small matter to become the king's son-in-law? I am only a poor man and little known. When Saul's servant told him what David had said, Saul replied, say to David, the king wants no other price for the bride than 100 Philistine foreskins to take revenge on his enemies. Saul's plan was to have David fall by the hands of the Philistines. And the church said, amen. Now, I want to use that as a backdrop. I know that's kind of it's not really a text we typically preach on and that kind of thing, but I thought it fit kind of what we want to do. Now, for the last 7 or 8 sessions prior to New Year's, we were in a lesson called Get Off That Old BS. And we've been talking about changing your belief system. Amen. But over the holiday, there's some things that transpired that some of us may have seen on the news, where part of our family was involved. Family, that's the church family in that sense, was involved in a tragic incident, and I was a little bit moved by it. And here's why: because it's not the first time I've seen that. And so I kind of went to the Lord in prayer, and what I got immediately was, you need to teach on this. Because if you see it, and you're kind of the watchman on the wall, and you don't say anything, according to Scripture, the blood is on your hands. And so what I decided to do today is this. This is not necessarily a series that I have already orchestrated and laid out. We're just going to see what happens. But here's what I want to do. I do want to take today and probably next Sunday to deal with unhealthy relationships. Now, here's what I said. I'm not really even trying to preach today. Amen. If the preach comes out, great. If it doesn't, fine. But here's what I'm out to do. If what I talk about today saves somebody's life, I've done my job. Okay? Whether you shout, run, whatever, all right, that's what I'm out to do. I believe we've got to do some things. So let's kind of just wade our way through this, if you don't mind. Amen. I believe you're gonna get blessed. It's going very well at every service, and so I believe you're gonna get a lot out of this. So let's take a look at some things first of all. Now let's identify this, and they can put this on the screen. We're not necessarily going here, but Ephesians chapter 5. Verse 11, Ephesians chapter 5 makes mention of, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. The NIV or Amplified might say expose them. Does that make sense? Now, why is that important? Because if we don't expose the works of darkness, then other people are going to walk into the same trap. Part of my issue as I have begun to look at church a little bit different is we do a very good job sometimes of ignoring or not even addressing things that are happening outside. Well, I'm not getting no help, okay? And I think we can no longer do that. I think it's akin to knowing that the bridge is out and then letting somebody drive down the road without at least trying to flag them down and let them know that something's going on. I used this before, and I don't think this is illegal, but I've done it, and I still do it. How many of y'all understand that, every now and then, when you get to certain times in the month, the police could be posted up trying to... Y'all understand what I'm saying? I know I got some police officers in here. I ain't mad at you. I'm just saying. This is facts. These facts. Y'all, they get posted up, and I know they got a job to do, but, if I happen to be riding by on the road and I know he posted up and he ain't get me, you know what I'll do? I'll flash my lights. Y'all, I don't know if that's right, I understand what I'm saying, but I'm going to sit there and tell you, listen, I just saw that dude, you finna get a ticket. You better slow that bad boy down. And nobody has ever told you flashing lights mean the police is around the corner. But everybody knows that if you see a car in the daytime flashing his lights, like, hey. Because my thought is, listen, it didn't get me. I don't want to see you get a ticket. I don't even know you. But something in me says, I saw that. I know you ain't going to see that. Let me hit you with this one time. Now, if you keep driving fast, that's on you, because I saw it. I tried to warn you. You just want to do your thing. See, that's how I feel about what we're dealing with. That when we see stuff, when I see stuff, my job, I can't make people turn around. But what I can do is tell you what's there. And then you can make a decision about what you're going to do from here on out. Does that make sense? So what I've seen is this over time, and I've been doing this for a little while. What I've seen is this. I've seen how the enemy infiltrates relationships and has destroyed lives, people, and families. And even Christians, even believers' lives. So we are not exempt from what you're talking about right here. And so I really believe we got to expose this thing. We got to talk about it. We got to minister on it. That people get some help and somebody finds a way of escape. Amen. Now let's deal with a couple things up front. There's some words I want to address. The first word I want to address is this word healthy. Healthy relationships, because a lot of times when we talk about health, the word health is only relative to what you know. Okay? It's only health. Okay, so at some point in time in your life, knowledge increases. So a meal that you might call healthy actually may not really be healthy. It just may be the only health you've been exposed to. So your version of healthy is really unhealthy. And what you have to learn to do now is use a different measuring tool to govern whether something is healthy or unhealthy. Does that make sense? So you talk to people about a relationship sometime, and they'll say, "Oh, we just like everybody else. We're normal. We're healthy." But let's talk about what's your version of health relative to what health really is. Because if you came out of a dysfunctional household or dysfunctional family, I'm not getting no help now, your version of health might be we yell, we fight, we holler at each other, we scream, and that's normal. But you got to realize that's really not normal. That's just what you were exposed to. Ooh, I'm not getting no help. And then so when you come into or you see a different family, you see a Huxtables, you see a Blackish, you see you say, oh, that's corny, that's high in the sky, because nobody lives like that. Let me help you out. Everybody ain't fighting. Everybody don't tear up their own stuff. Everybody not cussing and tearing up the house to get something done. That's not true. You've been sold a bill of goods. That may be all that you saw, but that's not all that there is, and it doesn't mean yours is healthy because it looks like where you came from. Maybe what you came from was dysfunctional in the first place. We fought. You don't putting your hands on each other and all that. That's dysfunctional. That's not love. That's dysfunctional. And see, we all have been trained in environments where we have been taught to show no weakness, to talk about certain things, and we're about to pull the covers off this thing today, if that makes sense. Because it's people's lives are on the line. All right, now let's deal with this. So we got to talk about this thing called health and what is normal. Does that make sense? And we want to create a different standard. So for the most part today, all I really want to introduce is this. I want to talk about signs that your relationship is unhealthy. Signs that your relationship is unhealthy. I can't, listen, all I can do is put the signs up now. If you want to ignore all the signs, that's on you. But we're about to show you some signs that things may be unhealthy. Does that make sense? Now, let's deal with this. Unhealthy relationships lead to abuse, low self-esteem, and all kinds of stress. An unhealthy relationship can be emotional abuse. Emotional. So somebody is abusing your emotions. Matter of fact, in this kind of environment or in this kind of context, emotional abuse is when a lot of times somebody is using your emotions against you. So I'm going to do certain things because I know it's going to invoke a certain reaction from you, and I'm doing that because you did something to me, so I'm going to do this to you because I want you to know if you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back. Okay, Lord. Or it looks like this. I am just going to ignore you having any kind of emotion about anything, and I'm going to continue to do things even though I know it emotionally sends you sideways. That's emotional abuse. Number two, and all these things we're discussing, these are designed to break you down so you will acquiesce or follow whatever somebody is trying to get you to do. It is a form of control. And so because you don't come into a relationship being accustomed to how things are done, so what they do is they're going to wear you out, break you down, and whether it's emotionally, physically, or verbally, until you cease to put up a fight. And the goal is to get you to just go along to get along. So you got emotional abuse. You got physical abuse. We talked about that. The threat of violence. Or violence itself, used to control your behavior or what you say. Or sometimes it's not even the threat of violence with you, it's the threat of violence, listen, against a family member. This stuff is serious, man. You know, I as a pastor, I've had to counsel all kinds of situations, and this kind of is where I started to draw the line. And this didn't happen recently. This happened years ago. And some of you who've met with me know I've said this before. I had a hard time in prayer one day, and I was talking to God about, listen, that I was trained a certain way. I was trained. This is when, you tell people this, and you give people that, and this is what you're supposed to say, and this is what you're supposed to do. But I can look myself in the mirror and say, now, if that's my daughter sitting across the table from me, I ain't telling her that. See, y'all, I know that's what we were trained to do. I know that's what I went to school to do, and I know that's what the other preachers, said that we're supposed to do. But I'm sitting there telling you, if I'm looking at baby girl across from me, I ain't telling her that. So what I said was this, Lord, how can I tell somebody else's baby girl that, and I wouldn't tell my own that? And so I refuse to keep telling people cliche stuff and start telling them what I would tell her. Because if I ain't going to tell, I ain't going to tell her that, I ain't going to tell you that. Y'all, you play with me, because if you come to me and tell, because see, I've heard stuff like, oh, just pray about it, oh, you need to go do this, and oh, you need to put some oil on. No, you need to leave, you need to get out, because that dude ain't got no business putting his hands on you. Okay, matter of fact, where you at? you playing. I said this earlier, I'm kind of playing. Kinda. Just kinda. Because I'm not gonna put my own child in harm's way. So some of this religious stuff that we teaching, I'm not gonna put somebody else in harm's way when all the stuff you told me says, hey man, this is extremely dangerous, and I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna do whatever you want, but you might need to get out. For your health, for your safety, your security, your family. Becomes important. All right? So you got physical abuse. You've got verbal abuse. Where somebody's good with their words. They can out-talk you. You can't respond quick enough or fast enough. Your brain don't even think that fast. And then before you know it, they're going up one side of you, down the other side, and you can't even respond fast enough. And they do it in front of people. They've done it when you privately. Calling you everything but a child of God, making you look like an idiot, stupid. You ain't got your stuff together. Verbal abuse. It's designed to attack your self-esteem, to make you feel less than. See, you got to realize, all of this is self-esteem attack. Anytime somebody's attacking your self-esteem is because they already deem your esteem higher than theirs. The attack is to bring it down so I can control you. Don't you start feeling bad. I deal with this later. Don't you start feeling bad about who you are. The issue is you already operating on a level higher than they want you to operate. All of this is an attack on your own self-esteem, because I got to get you to think less of yourself so I can control you. This goes for the people who are experiencing this, and this goes for the people who are doing it and perpetrating it. I'm putting you on blast officially. If you don't get right, I pray they leave. I meant every bit of it. So let's take a look at some things. Verbal abuse, physical abuse. All this is to break you down. Unhealthy relationships can show up anywhere. Okay? We're not just talking about dating and marriage. We're going to talk about those. Number one, unhealthy relationships can be in friendships. There's some people's friendships that I think are completely unhealthy. Unhealthy. Y'all not friends, you're competing. You went to the Bahamas, so I got to go to the Bahamas. You went over here, so I got to go over here. You put yours on Facebook, I got to put mine on Facebook. What is that? Y'all not friends. That's not friends. You competing. You got a picture of you and a picture of me and my husband. I put a picture of you and I got to put a picture of me and my husband up. You got a picture of you and your kids. I got to talk about my kids. You put your kids up, got good grades. I'm gonna put mine. What is that? Y'all not friends. Y'all competing. Listen, I'm not against that, but you got to make sure that the motive and the reason why you doing things is not really just to try to outshine somebody else, because you're trying to one-up somebody you call a friend. Or you got groups that, you know what, because, you know, these certain friends, I gotta dress a certain way. So if we going out, so-and-so gonna see us, so you gotta wear this, and you gotta wear that, and I gotta have this, and you gotta have that, and if you ain't driving this and pulling up in this, and we gotta manufacture, we renting cars. Listen, you have an unhealthy relationship. It's completely unhealthy. You're not friends. That's not a friend. A friend doesn't care what I drive. A friend will like me no matter what I wear. They don't care what bag I got, what shoes I got on. If we friends, none of that really matters. If I got it, we good. If you got it, we good. We supposed to just be friends. We just like each other's company, no matter whether we work the same, make the same money, or any of that. That's how that works. So you can have unhealthy friendships. Some of you got unhealthy family relationships. The family relationship is unhealthy. That's why you don't want to go to it. That's why you don't want to go to family reunion. When they call you, you're like, oh, Lord, because you know it's going to be a fight. You know somebody going to cut somebody out. Somebody going to be drinking. They're going to pick up that brown liquor, whether you bring it. And all of a sudden, it's going to be a mess. And Uncle JoJo and Uncle Buck ain't talked in 25 years. And the minute that somebody say something, because the thing is dysfunctional. It's unhealthy. And it may be reasons why it's like that. People were mistreated when they grew up. They had differences in this one versus that one. And it just creates a whole dysfunctional family relationship. And sometimes until they get better, we can't hang out like that. My time got to be limited. I'm coming to see you, shake some hands, kiss the babies. But I'm going back to where it's functional. Y'all playing. I'm going back to where it's functional. Where we laugh, enjoy, and have peace, eat food, and talk. Yeah. So you got dysfunctional family environment. You even have dysfunctional marriage situations. Oh yeah, that's unhealthy. It can be unhealthy. I said this, and so just to mention, I said this up front that I came from an era where outside of biblical infidelity, that's the only reason for divorce. Not only that's the issue, it was talked about, you were kind of looked at as less than, you were marked. And let me tell you something, I don't believe that God intended you to stay married to somebody who would verbally, physically, or emotionally abuse you. That is not the will of God, just to say, I got somebody. Y'all ain't hearing what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I don't believe that, and will argue any preacher face to face, hands down. Yes, I believe people can change. Yes, I believe in prayer. But you might be in a situation where prayer is not what you need to do. If your life is in jeopardy, if your safety is in jeopardy, if your kids are in jeopardy, you might need to leave and pray on the way out.